What's up? Welcome to Sports Center. Today we take a look back at the month in sports.
Later we have an interview with LA's dynamic duo, and stay tuned at 8 for The Decision as LeBron picks a middle school.
Can't wait to see where he takes his talents. But first, we turn our attention to the Oakland A's. Despite having one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, the A's have had a very successful season so far. Here to comment, we have Oakland GM Billy Beane on the phone. Billy, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Great. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Brad Pitt?
Nah, never.
Interesting. Now, you've managed to maximize your players' potential despite paying a very small amount of money. What's your secret?
My assistant Paul and I are looking at players in a completely different way. We're finding players and drafting them based on their achievement and not just potential. We looked at their stats and have come to better understand the importance of stats. We noticed that scouts tend to overanalyze unimportant stats and overlooking some of the important ones.
You mentioned achievement versus potential there. How has your search for players emphasized achievement more than the conventional methods?
Well, when I was playing, I was scouted solely based on specific tools that I had. Scouts took a look at me and some other high school players, tested our speed, strength, and fielding ability. Any physical specimen was guaranteed to get drafted high, but those guys' careers didn't always pan out so well in the major leagues.
You also said you're looking at different stats. What kind of stats are you looking for in your players?
Through years of being around the game, come to realize that we tend to overemphasize batting average as a measure for hitting. Teams score runs when they have efficient at-bats, so bases on balls are a lot more important than people think. We also look at slugging percentages and on-base percentages, again, as a gauge for the guy's ability to generate runs.
Are you scouting the same kind of guys as everyone else, or are you looking at different types of players entirely?
We're looking at some guys that everyone else overlooks. For instance, we're considering using a high draft pick on Jeremy Brown, a record-setting catcher from the SEC, who has been dismissed by the other scouts for being extremely obese. Generally, we look to the college level for new players, because those guys have had a better chance to prove themselves against much tougher competition. Unlike most organizations, we don't fall in love with any high school kids just because they look like ball players. Doing so will prove to be a very, very expensive mistake.
All right, thanks. And finally, what types of players should we look for to have breakout seasons in the future?
Well, we just drafted a guy named Nick Swisher, and I'm really excited about the kid. We also like what we got in Barazito. In fact, I'd be willing to wager right now that he wins the AL Cy Young next year. Write it down.
All right, that's Billy Beane. He's GM for the A's. He's with a tremendously overachieving group of youngsters right now, and he's doing a fine job with the team. Thanks, Billy.
My pleasure.
That's it for now. We'll be right back on SportsCenter.